If you just look around today, it's pretty clear we're dealing with a modern epidemic of stress, anxiety, and just constant distraction. We are all basically searching for ways to center ourselves, right? But what if I told you that a 1,400-year-old mindful practice could literally be the ultimate holistic antidote? I mean, what if just one daily routine could simultaneously bring down your blood pressure, completely boost your brain's alpha waves, and build this unbreakable sense of community? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I find absolutely fascinating, the anatomy of mindful prayer. We are going to look at Islamic prayer, which is known as Salah, and we're not just looking at it as a religious ritual. No, we're looking at it as a fully scientifically backed mind-body wellness practice. We've pulled together multiple medical studies and theological sources to uncover exactly how this daily discipline actually impacts human health. Okay, let's dive right into this. We'll start inside the brain with the neuroscience of mindfulness, then look at physical healing through sajdid. After that, we'll expand outward to building discipline, the rewards of congregational prayer, some practical tips for focus, and finally, valid excuses for missing the congregation.
Starting off with Section 1, the neuroscience of mindfulness.
Now, I want you to think for a second about what actually happens inside your brain during deep, focused devotion. Is it just, quiet time, or is there an actual, measurable physical shift happening? The contrast we see here is just mind-blowing. Researchers actually hooked people up to EEG tests to measure brain waves, and they compared subjects who were just mimicking the physical motions of prayer against those doing the motions while actively reciting and focusing on God. And the neurological differences? Absolutely massive. Just going through the motions didn't cut it at all. It simply did not produce the advanced brain activity that actual mindful prayer did. So, when these participants were engaged in the real deal, actual mindful prayer, researchers saw a huge spike in two specific types of brainwaves. First, alpha waves shot up in the back of the brain. That indicates your parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in, which is what brings about deep relaxation. It literally turns on your body's rest and digest mode. But here is the crazy part. At the exact same time, the brain showed a surge in gamma waves, which we associate with super sharp cognitive processing and focus. So you get this dual state, deep, calm relaxation paired with hyperfocus. That right there is the true hallmark of effective meditation. And the real-world impact of all this brain activity? It's genuinely staggering. There was this clinical study with 174 participants measuring mental health. The data basically proved that regular, mindful prayer, especially when combined with actually understanding what you are saying, accounts for a 13% variance in improved mental health. Now, 13% might not sound like a ton at first, but in the incredibly complex world of psychology, moving the needle by 13% with just a single daily practice, that is an incredible testament to how mindfulness and prayer directly slashes stress and boosts your spiritual tranquility. Moving on to Section 2, physical healing through sujood.
So, zooming out from the brain to the rest of the physical body, we really need to talk about sujood. That's the Arabic term for prostration, which is a major posture in the daily prayer. The exact physical alignment for this was taught directly by the Prophet Muhammad. You've got your knees and toes resting gently on the ground, your forehead placed firmly on the earth, the arms separated out wide to support the upper body, and, this is absolutely crucial, the head is positioned literally lower than the heart. And this brilliantly illustrates why this specific posture is basically daily physical therapy. Because your head is lower than your heart, sujood uniquely flushes the brain with increased blood flow, which stimulates the frontal cortex. Plus, the way you fold your torso actually promotes spinal decompression, which is fantastic for relieving tension and easing conditions like sciatica. On top of that, it gently compresses your abdomen, massaging those digestive organs to reduce bloating, while that wide stance with your arms and the deep bend in your hips keeps your vital joints nice and flexible.
Next up is Section 3, building discipline and character.
But hey, the benefits aren't only physical. Islamic prayer is required 5 times a day, right? At very specific appointed times from dawn all the way until night. And this strict schedule acts as this relentless training ground. It genuinely shapes a believer's inner and outer character because it demands profound punctuality, discipline, and obedience. Think about it. When you routinely pause whatever you're doing, whether it's working, relaxing, or even sleeping, just to humble yourself in prostration, it builds this rock-solid patience and humility. And that naturally filters right into your everyday life, your habits, and how you interact with people.
Let's move to Section 4, rewards of congregational prayer.
Now we're zooming all the way out from the individual to the collective community. And the Islamic tradition offers this jaw-dropping spiritual multiplier.
Sure, you can pray alone, but praying in a congregation, known as jama'ah, is considered 27 times superior in reward compared to praying completely by yourself. 27 times! This massive incentive is brilliantly designed by the faith to pull people out of their own isolation and directly into the community.
And honestly, the spiritual protections attached to this are just beautiful. The historical sources highlight this prophetic tradition, showing the invisible protective benefits of just lingering mindfully in the place of worship. The idea is that by simply remaining seated after the congregational prayer, maintaining that state of mindfulness, the believer actually receives the direct prayers of angels, asking for their forgiveness and mercy. How amazing is that?
And beyond the spiritual side, the worldly, societal benefits of the mosque are incredible. When people stand shoulder to pray, the barriers of race, wealth, and status, they completely dissolve. The congregation fosters mutual community support, it trains people in unity and how to respect just leadership by following the imam, and it creates these incredible daily opportunities for instant charity because the wealthy can immediately see and help out the needy, sick, or struggling members of their very own neighborhood.
All right, Section 5. Tips for focus and consistency. So the big question, how do we actually maintain this kind of spiritual focus in our highly distracted modern world? The crucial point here is that prayer should never just feel like an empty chore. To really unlock these mental and physical benefits, you have to train your attention specifically on God, viewing the prayer as a deliberate, daily meditation and stress relief tool. The research also clearly shows that if you take the time to understand the deeper meanings of the Quranic recitations, it significantly boosts those cognitive benefits we talked about. And finally, making the actual effort to step out of your house and attend the mosque regularly. That really solidifies the habit and unlocks all that vital community support. Finally, Section 6. Valid excuses for missing congregation.
Now, as demanding as a 5 times a day schedule might seem, the tradition is actually incredibly pragmatic. It is built with immense grace for human frailty. While congregational prayer is highly emphasized, the historical sources lay out some very clear, valid excuses for just praying at home. We're talking severe illness or physical weakness, a real fear of harm or danger, harsh weather conditions like heavy snow or pouring rain, needing to take care of a sick dependent or a baby, and even travel, or, yes, overpowering accidental sleep. So if your alarm doesn't go off and you accidentally sleep in, you're actually covered. It proves that the faith protects life and well-being first, making sure that mindful prayer can safely continue at home when getting to the mosque becomes an undue hardship.
We've seen the brain science, the physical therapy, the psychological grounding, and the massive community power embedded in this ancient practice. But ultimately, it all comes down to intention. So I leave you with this. Are you merely going through the motions of your daily routine, just letting stress dictate your life? Or are you ready to anchor your days with profound, mindful intention? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this deeper understanding sparks a whole